What's down? Welcome back to Point Blank Period. I am D Gotti, aka your mouth of the South. And the NFL schedule dropped Wednesday, and I'm here to give you 5 games that you have to look for from NFC South teams in this upcoming season. So we're going to start it off right here at number 5. It's not the sexiest pick. It's the pick that might make you squint your eyes a little bit, but it's the Carolina Panthers versus the Seattle Seahawks. Like I said, not the most enticing matchup, but when you think about what it means, they played each other countless times since both Russell Wilson and Cam Newton have came into the league. 8 times. Cam's 2-6 against Russell. Not the best odds to bank on. At the end of the year, Ron Rivera started off 6-2 and collapsed. He's on the hot seat, reportedly, and if he wants his derriere to catch a little air, he's going to have to get past his 4-game stretch to end the year. You have the Falcons. Then you have the Seahawks. Then you have the Colts. Then you have the Saints. And like I said, if he's going to alleviate any pressure, he has to come back up. The team has not won a single playoff game since going 15-1 and making it to the Super Bowl. The higher-ups ain't too happy. They have to knock off this losing feel they have against the Seahawks. And that's why I think it's going to be very pivotal. And that could really show what's going to happen with Ron Rivera at the end of the year. Now, coming up at number 4, you get a double dose of them Kakalaki boys. You got the Panthers once again, and they're going against the New Orleans Saints this time. Once again, another team in that 4-game stretch. For the second year in a row, the Carolina Panthers and the New Orleans Saints will be going against each other in the last game of the year. Last year wasn't that important. Breeze sat out, Cam was out. It really didn't matter. But the 4 games before that, the Saints had beat them 4 straight times. 3 in 1 year. Once last year. Another team, they got to knock that off. I like this matchup because you have Christian McCaffrey and you have Alvin Kamara. 2 very talented running backs and 2 very similar prospects. You look at it, they do the same thing. They're great runners. They're great pass catchers. You know, Kamara had a lot of touchdowns last year. McCaffrey had a lot of yards. He came into his own as a runner towards the end of the year, and it's like, all right, a lot of times, this is the 5th guy that they put in there. Some people put McCaffrey over Kamara, Kamara over McCaffrey. I won't put my personal opinion in there because I think y'all know where I stand. But at the same time, this is pivotal. I think this is going to be a matchup that lasts for years upon years in the NFC South. So now, moving into number 3, I have the Birds. I have the Falcons versus the Eagles. This was somewhat of a dud. Not even somewhat. This was a dud last year. But that's because Carson Wentz was your starting quarterback. Things didn't go how they were supposed. My bad. Nick Foles was your starting quarterback and not Carson Wentz. I don't see it happening this year. Both fell off, could come back right now. The secondary for the Eagles was decimated. They were basically playing with practice squad cornerbacks, but they do still have 3-time Pro Bowler Malcolm Jenkins in the back end. I think Jalen Mills is going to come back, and a lot of those cornerbacks started coming into their own at the end of the season. Now you look at the Falcons side. They had Deion Jones and Keanu Neal, 2 of their most impactful defensive players. Both was out for the majority of the year. So now you're going to have 2 defenses shored up. And you look at them, in my opinion, those are 2 of the top 5 most complete offenses in the NFL. Who's going to win? You have 2 returning defenses, and you have 2 complete offenses. That's just a recipe for a good game anytime. I don't see a repeat of last year. So now we're going into number 2. And once again, it's the Falcons again, but it's the Saints versus the Falcons, in my opinion, the most underrated rivalry in the NFL. You know, I could be biased, but I see it all the time. I know the hatred that the Saints and the Falcons have for each other. To be honest with you, the hatred is so strong that as a Saints fan, I have a friend who's a Falcons fan, and I tell him I can't even kick it with you on the week of the game. So I rock with them 50 weeks out the year, but them 2 weeks that we play the Falcons, no dice. I can't be friends with you. It's like that. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not one of the minority. I am the majority. We cannot be friends. These 2 teams hate each other the same level that the Cowboys hate the Eagles, that the Ravens hate the Steelers. It's just in the South with some teams that haven't been notoriously good. They hold tenure in the NFL, so some people might not recognize it. But trust and believe, them Dirty Birds and the Florida Lee boys, they hate each other. So I had to put that at number 2. And now, the one y'all all been waiting for. I don't even think it's a surprise unless you don't know who's on the schedule. The game that might not just be number one in the NFC South, but might be the number one game that you're looking for, period, in the 2019 season. The Saints and the Rams. We all know what happened. We all know how that went down. The no call that changed the ability to replay pass interference. The play that, in my opinion, kept the New Orleans Saints out the Super Bowl. These two teams have been waiting to get at each other. They knew they were going to play each other. It's no secret. They've known it since that moment. It was a phenomenal series, and it's becoming even more of a rivalry. Playing twice last year, coming up this year. These are two teams that are going to be major contenders in the NFC. Really in the NFL. If you're not excited to see a rematch between the Saints and the Rams, honestly, I don't even know if you're excited for the football season coming up. This thing is 4 months away, 4 or 5 months, and I'm excited right now. I need to see them. Week 2. I'm just mad it couldn't be week 1. Appreciate y'all for checking out my video. Down in the description, I have my social medias. That's my Twitter and my Instagram, along with some honorable mentions that just quite didn't make the list. But y'all know the drill. I need y'all to like, comment, subscribe, and tell a friend. It's the mouth of the South, speaking up for the Buccaneers, the Falcons, the Panthers, and most importantly, the New Orleans Saints. Keep checking me out.